Hey folks, UltimatDjz here for your ArcFall video, March 2022, Rules of Acquisition Part 2. A lot of folks had hoped it was going to be a one-off, but here we go. Part 2 is here, so strap in. We got more content surrounding the Ferengi coming up. And as you can hear, if you can, I kind of have a little bit of a head cold, so I'm not feeling super great. We're going to jump right in, and maybe you'll get lucky and I won't be as chatty today. Honestly, there's not a ton to tell you about, really, truthfully. We do have a new building. We have a couple of new officers and 2 new features kind of bundled into one, half of it being paywalled and the other half being free to play. Right up front, I can see some pros and cons with this, but I am pleased to say that for players level 40 plus, you also now have an opportunity to earn free territory prime particles. This is a little bit frustrating to me because I feel that players under level 40 are probably the ones who need it the most, but we'll add that to the list of things in this game that don't make a lot of sense. For example, second repair being paywall. Nonetheless, I am going to give you all the details for you to make your own judgments as we go along. First up, as always, we'll dive into the officers. Actually, not a bad set this month. I may even add part 1. Quark and Arok and Fess, I feel the officers are very capable. They have very good uses. This month appears to be no exception. Your epic officer this month is Rom, and his captain's maneuver may be the best officer yet when it comes to base cracking. Captain's maneuver when attacking a station. Rom delays the opponent's ship and defense platform weapon fire for 1 round. However, there's no synergy to be gained, so he's it. That's the ability, min and max. But wow, what a crazy ability that is. In the cases where a ship can be destroyed without ever even firing a shot, this is going to have massive utility in base cracking. Just wowzers. Note, he is still of the Ferengi conglomerate group, so he can provide synergy to other Ferengi officers. He's just not going to get any benefit of synergy to his own maneuver. Officer ability also related to base attacks when attacking a station. Rom increases the number of shots of the ship's weapons by 50%. Remember, folks, Scopely rounds. So when you apply this pretty much right out of the gate, if you have one weapon that fires 1 shot, you'd get a mathematical value of 1.5. That's going to round to 2. All right. We've seen this with Empress Georgiou in the past, for example, which because of her cumulative ability makes tiering her up an improvement. All right. It is a priority. This style of ability gives you the effect right out of the box. Where it's going to make an even bigger difference is for ships with multiple shots and multiple weapons. Those ships, this is going to be even more massive. How about a tier 1 Rom unlock on a pylum, for example? And I know not everybody has a pylum, but just for an example, because it has so many shots, that fires 7 shots in the first round. All right, weapons 1 and 2 are each 2 shots. The third weapon is 3 shots. So amping that up by 50% is going to yield you 10.5 shots, or rounded is going to give you 11 shots. That's a tier 1 ROM. Now, funny enough, tier 2, for example, it would actually keep the pylum at 11 shots because of the rounding. Because this ability is calculated per weapon, not a total number of shots. So, for example, a tier 3 ROM would give that same ship a huge jump up to 14 shots, again, due to the rounding nature of Scopely math. Notice also, this does not say first round of combat. This officer ability does this every single round that you're alive. Woo-wee. This is a base cracking game changer. For those that were worried about the new ship dock giving challenges to cracking bases, well, this pretty much negates that right out of the box, and probably then some, really. In the captain's chair, you're taking a battle that would ordinarily only last 2 to 3 rounds at best, and you're adding a whole extra round by them not firing. Then in both that extra round plus the normal number of rounds, you're getting those bonus shots. This is massive, massive, massive. He does use independent credits, so that's blah, and adds more vigor to our calls for increased independent credit sourcing, but we can discuss that another day. Your second and final officer this month is rare Ferengi Cath. He's kind of meh, to be honest, at least as a captain. Increasing repair cost efficiency of the ship by 40%. You can pick up synergy of 10% per side, but why? Why would anybody ever use that? This is a throwaway captain's maneuver, in my opinion, and this cat will never find him in the big chair on my ships. However, see, hear that? However, his officer ability I find to be a lot more exciting. Ripper has often told the community that mathematically a new Chen could not exist. Well, don't get too excited. Don't get too excited because he's not Chen. But he is a new and improved Talon, providing another opportunity of potentially putting together another grinding crew, or perhaps using him with your Vidar while Talon is out and about doing other things. Note, he's only good for hostiles of 51 and under, keeping in line with the other hostile grinding crew limitations and not allowing them to activate on hostiles 52 and higher that have their own ship and officer abilities themselves. But he will eventually scale up to 25% of tier 5. For those of you needing a refresher, here is a side-by-side with Talon's officer ability, where you can see the notable increases in Cath's ability, finally giving us a kinda Chen counterpart for kinetic weapons. Gotta be honest, I'm pretty pumped about this, from a Picard Beverly combo, or a Pike Moreau combo, or even something on my Vidar for Borg probes. This officer ability will be one that I do chase and promote as quickly as possible. So much of the game revolves around grind. This officer appears to be wildly worth it. One other side comparison I'll make, we've seen how Chen with Pike and Moreau or Picard Beverly can ultimately get your hostile damage decreased to roughly 4% of what the base damage would have been from that hostile. She maxes at 30%, but with Pike Moreau, that's the 220% bonus, yielding a benefit of 66, and then you've got that early hostile damage reduction research way back early in the combat tree. That's 30%. So, and we've got a video slide on this, I think, or maybe just a PowerPoint from way back in the day. We could make a new video on it if you guys want. Let me know in the comments. So, flipping back to Talon for a moment, at tier 5, her max damage reduction could only be 74%, still resulting in 26% of that kinetic shot coming through and smashing on your ship. Now, keep going, Snake Eyes, keep up. Now, flipping back to Cath, full circle. He's going to be Grumpy Cattle Man. I can see it already. We see that Cath is not quite Chen quality at tier 5, but so daggone close. An 85% total reduction using the Pike Moreau or Picard Beverly mechanic, resulting in only 15% hitting you, as compared to the 26% before with Talon. So it's an 11% net gain for this new Ferengi officer in that scenario. Oh, but is that the best combo? Actually, no, it's not. Shout out Ripper for his napkin math. Tells me that the max effectiveness will come in Pike as the captain, Talon on one side, and Cath on the other, which is a tier 5 Talon and a tier 5 Cath for these numbers, going to result in a 93% total kinetic reduction. Almost as good as the 96% energy reduction that we get out of Chen. Is it worth it? I don't know if it's worth spending cash on. That's up to you, but this is a significant game changer in kinetic grinding. And yeah, I definitely feel like we've seen many, many worse officer abilities. Shout out Wesley Crusher and maybe Mbenga. Well, I'm going to gladly attempt to get this guy maxed out at tier 5. All right. What's it going to take? Well, let's take a look at our shard count. Typical rare shard count. Oh, and shocker command badges. Yay for that. But honestly, a great officer. And just, whew. Nice. 2 good officers this month. I'm liking it. As I've hinted in the Discords over the last several days, there is going to be a meta this month for Epic Rom. This meta is probably, folks, the toughest we've had yet to date. And despite my counter argument, this meta will not be completable with the directives you can earn freely in the game in a single month. There will be multiple material spends for Ops 20 to 22, and for 23 plus, there's going to be 1 material spend, 2 runs of the Armada event, plus there's going to be 2 SLBs for material spend, which presumably, and I have not confirmed this as of the time of taping, so we don't know, I would presume those would also have paired SMSs. That's a ton of materials that they're asking us to spend this month, as well as directives, but it is hard to argue with the value of this officer ability themselves. This is why some players say, well, I might hold back out of one meta to be more prepared for a future meta. This is that month. If you have been waiting for an opportunity and you do like raiding or you do like the grinding with Cath, then you've got some great officers this month. I do struggle justifying an event that can't be completed with the resources and materials given in the game, though. That said, hopefully you have been able to save and prepare, because this month you're going to need that bank. These events will not obviously be able to be done with only 600 rare directives. Plan now, and for some of you, it may already be too late. late, but hopefully you've been saving up the rares, or you can decide if these officers are maybe worth a little bit of spend. There are some rare directives in this month's Elite Battle Pass track, and hopefully maybe by now you've been able to accumulate enough to run an epic or two. That may help, but this is going to be extremely challenging for players who struggle with directive acquisition. As a side note, they've also indicated that during the 2 SLBs, they are going to attempt to run with the Latinum spend mechanic again. But as of now, be prepared for that as an option, knowing that it may not come, just like last month, if it doesn't pass QA. So hopefully that will ease the burden for some of the material spends if you guys are interested in that. I'm told that if you do complete all of the meta events and purchase the $99 Elite Battle Pass pack and complete all 20 milestones of the Elite Battle Pass, then you will unlock ROM. But with the challenge of the metas this month, I wonder if as many players will get this officer as have other epics in the past. The good news is that during the SLBs, if there's a paired SMS, those shards are extra and not counted in the meta path. So like last month, there will be some opportunities for you to make up some ground in the SLBs if you happen to miss a milestone or two here or there. Further easing the pain a little bit, there will be one special event coming later in the month where bonus ROM shards will be available. We're going to give you more details on that coming up in a later video. And finally, one last thing to ease the pain of counting each and every valuable ROM shard this month. There will be ROM shards available in an epic luck recruit chance box. I'll tell you a little bit about that coming up here later. What else is new this month? Well, as I said, we have a new building. The Treasury is launching. See, Ripper gave you such a stupid gun hit. So good. It was so good. Anyway, listen, Scopely has told us that we can tell you very, very little about this building. What I can say is that there will be events surrounding this building later in the month, and we will be able to tell you more prior to those events. For now, we can see that it's here. We can see it in our station, and we can see the building description, which says unlocking access to something called a lockbox. More info coming later. Improving abilities of survey ships to gather and protect resources, and increase max cargo for all ships. You can see at the top of the screenshot that there are 2% bonuses for speed and protected, as well 1% for max cargo on all ships, and this is level 1 of the building. I'm all for anything that's going to increase these items, so I do love that. And notably, this building is free to play. That unlock key will be granted to everybody this month and will not require anything to be paid for you to unlock it. However, upgrading the building does cost optical diodes, and this is most reminiscent of like the axionic servos for the Exocom factory. They are a unique currency, and it will take time to grind them out. And of course, likely they will be on sale for more immediate benefits from the Treasury right up front. But we will all be earning them daily through a gift bundle. More on that later when we bring you our next video on the Treasury. You'll also see in the description related to rating, and this is tricky and already unpopular amongst Scopely's player advisory panel. If a player more than 5 levels below you steal resources from your station, they will lose a percentage of the resource they would have stolen. Out of that lost resource, you'll get to keep 20%, and the remainder is lost to the vastness of space. Call it a tax. Call it a penalty. Call it motivation for hitting within your weight class. But this is wildly unpopular amongst the content creators and moderators because it could have been engineered as a model to encourage hitting similar ops levels and taxing anyone hitting outside of that bracket. Instead, this is only taxing the players who are punching up. Why would that even make a little bit of sense? Well, it does, actually, a little bit, even though we don't like it. This grumpy cat feels like it's a reaction to the amalgam, allowing players who could take hundreds of millions in a single scoop, or even billions, potentially, with a large enough base, and is now taxing those resources to the younger player. Why? Well, lower players were never meant to have access to vast quantities of resources like that. Look at their packs. Look at their rewards. When a single scoop from an amalgam could net you more resources than you could earn in an entire month of rewards, then Scopely has an issue with that. Hence now the quote-unquote, as I'm calling it, the gift tax. All right. Sad thing is, even if it's legitimate gameplay, even I as a 44, if I get in on rating a level 50 base, I am now going to lose a percentage of every shot back into the Scopely coffers. It's a less than desirable way of taking back what's theirs. In the mindset of Scopely, lower level players shouldn't have that much resource. Maybe even as a result, lower level players are buying fewer packs as a result. If a level 50 buys a pack and gives it away, it would have enough resources to equal multiple $100 packs at a lower level. Somehow, the economist over there thinks this could possibly get back or even out some of those redistributions. I call it just a plain out bad idea, and a further example of the Ferengi attitude that's been ever so present here lately. We will discuss this much more on our podcast later, and I'm sure we'll be able to hear the community loudly when it pertains to feedback on this new penalty tax. Do remember, the building cannot be built yet. There is still time for changes to come if Scopely chooses to, and if we react constructively. Time will tell. Lastly, in the description, this is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video. There will be a way for free prime particles once your building hits level 40, which is either going to be super expensive if you do it quick, or probably take some time free to play. However, either way, I am kind of happy with this. I've always been an advocate for a grinder's path, all right? It doesn't have to be easy, doesn't have to be fast. You know, the level 40 part, maybe could have adjusted that down to 30 or 35, but at least it is a grinder's path and a free-to-play path towards finally unlocking territory primes that are now turning 18 months old in the game. We will see a few events this month begin to dabble in some cross-server play. Hey, don't get too excited yet. This first iteration of what we're seeing are simply cross-server leaderboards, exactly like we've done in the past using a website, but now it's visible within the game across servers, across instances. This may not seem like a big deal to you guys, but this absolutely is really actually massive with regards to their ability to tie servers together in real-time event scoring. This is laying groundwork for even more potential cross-server play and competition in the future, fulfilling, albeit late, and obviously not complete yet, an item from our most recent roadmap regarding cross-server competition. This month, there are 3 new Prime research nodes. 2 of them are in the Galaxy Tree. Prime Vidar cargo, increasing cargo by 100% of the base, and it will cost G5 rare ore. Prime Stella cargo, which is significant. Look at its bonus, 400%, which is very, very yummy. It costs G5 rare gas. And finally, Prime Ship repairs, which is in the Station Tree, also costing G5 rare gas and even more of it. Note that the 2 Galaxy Primes open up at Ops 32, and the Ship Repair Prime opens at Ops 35. In terms of resource, very, very cheap, but obviously this is a Prime. It has been material-wise paywalled because of the G5 material to anyone who can't refine it, which is kind of the definition of a Prime, and I've got no objection to that. However, players 50+ who are already into that economy will have the ability to refine and grind out those new Primes. We are getting a new projectile this month to celebrate St. Paddy's Day, and normally I'm not really big into the projectiles. I do kind of feel good about the utility of this one, though. For a change, it will provide a permanent 20% boost to protected cargo of all ships when this projectile is acquired and unlocked. That's actually a pretty daggone nice buff. I expect there to be some style of leaderboard to earn it, but I have no information on that yet. But a great projectile utility, which has been lacking with some other projectiles in the past. Dabo tokens and bundles are back this month. We were kind of hoping that they would be, and they are. They are going to be very, very similarly structured to last month. We've been told you will have the opportunity to earn a very, very similar number of Dabo tokens this month, and that the bundles will also present the same, with the same caps. So you can do a little bit of prep on what you will want to acquire, and if you want to diversify your rewards this month, for example. Further, though, increasing traditional resource and mats a little bit here and there throughout the arc. I'm actually super pleased to announce that not only will ticketed events be back with traditional resource and materials this month instead of the Dabo tokens, but we're also back to the January model of 9 days of ticketed events with 90 free tickets sourced and a total of 27 ticketed events available. I'm actually super happy about this, and I'm somewhat excited to kind of see what rewards I can grab up this month. Plus, if they plan on sourcing roughly the same number, the 10,000 Dabo tokens, without the use of the ticketed events mechanic, then that actually gives me hope for a fuller event calendar with lots of other opportunities to earn these Dabo tokens, as well as this next item I'll talk to you about. Lastly, this month, we're introducing a new Epic Luck Recruit token related to Ferengi. Contained within this Epic Luck chest are Ferengi officer shards, and a variety of ship blueprints. The tokens to open this chest will be sourced in some events. You'll pick up a few in the Elite Battle Pass track, and of course, available in your cash store. This epic luck bundle will be located in your event store right next to the Dabo bundles. And again, as said earlier, this may provide you a little bit of relief. Maybe a couple of shards, maybe 1, 2, maybe more of the Ferengi officers this month that may help relieve the stress of an overly challenging officer meta this month. That's the folks. That's the ARC, folks. The building feature has more to it than meets the eye. We are going to tell you more about this mechanic in the coming days, but this feature has not been fully released as of ARC Fall Day, and there's even more to come. But overall, as of today, I guess you could still consider the feature this Treasury Building. And that tax is poo-poo. But the ship benefits related to mining and cargo are nice. Other than that, we have 2 great officers and continued player choice in rewards. This arc already feels better than last month, but we've all been surprised before. I'm excited to see how it plays out and feel that it already does look better than last month. However, I hope that looks are not deceiving. My name is UltimatDjz. I want to thank you for watching our March Arc Fall video. Please subscribe while you're here if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when we post our next video. Leave your comments and questions in the section below. We'll answer as quickly as possible. Please consider hitting that join button. You can support our channel. And don't forget to check out the merch store. We have some new items, and I'm loving seeing that people are ordering some stuff. We got some t-shirts and hoodies and stuff going out. Talking Trek is out in the streets in some places, and I kind of love it. So get you some merch today. Appreciate you watching, everyone. This has been a Teaching Trek video, a subset of the Talking Trek podcast, reminding you that we have a Talking in Cars scheduled at roughly 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern time on ARC launch day. We invite you to join our Discord to be a part of that official Q&A. The link for our Discord is in the description. UltimatDjz here, signing off and saying meow for now. Love you, man. See ya on the next one. Meow. Bye, everybody.